Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Thursday, May 20th, 2021. BBC report. Carrefour in Kenya. The true price of the discounts. In store, every so often an announcer will come on the address system to entice shoppers with the various deals of the day, ranging from foodstuff to electronics. It is a strategy that has helped the giant French retailer make headway in Kenya's tough retail sector, which is littered with the carcasses of other supermarket chains from far and wide. Since setting up shop in East Africa's biggest economy in 2016, Carrefour has expanded quickly and now runs 13 outlets in the major cities of Nairobi and Mombasa, making it one of the country's biggest foreign supermarket chains.
CNN report. The Fed needs to get real about inflation. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell loves to use the word transitory to describe the threat of inflation. But with each passing day, it looks more and more like inflation pressures are mounting in a much more significant manner than the Fed would like. The use of the word transitory could very well turn out to be transitory. Powell may need a new catchphrase to describe how inflation might be a bit stickier and thornier problem.
Al Jazeera report. Israel and Hamas agree Gaza ceasefire. Israel and Hamas have agreed a ceasefire as of 2 a.m. on Friday, 2300 GMT Thursday, an official with the Palestinian group said, bringing a potentially tenuous halt to 11 days of fighting. Israel's Security Cabinet said it had voted unanimously in favor of a mutual and unconditional Gaza truce proposed by mediator Egypt, but added that the hour of implementation had yet to be agreed. The development came a day after U.S. President Joe Biden urged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to seek de-escalation, and amid mediation bids by Egypt, Qatar and the United Nations.
Fox report. Mollie Tibbets murder. Key home surveillance video of jogger, vehicle shown at trial for Mexican national. As the trial of the Mexican national accused of murdering 20-year-old Iowa college student Mollie Tibbets in 2018 continued into its second day Thursday, prosecutors called law enforcement officials to the stand and key surveillance video was unveiled, showing Tibbets running through a neighborhood as a vehicle allegedly operated by the defendant followed. The defense for 26-year-old Christian Bahina Rivera, who was working as a farmhand under an alias and living in the country illegally, tried to cast suspicion on others who had initially come under scrutiny, including Tibbets' boyfriend, Dalton Jack, and residents living on a property in Brooklyn, Iowa, near where Tibbets' body was eventually discovered.
Fox report. Smuggling boat capsizes off California coast. 1 dead, 15 migrants in custody. A migrant smuggling boat capsized off the California coast near San Diego, with border authorities taking more than a dozen people into custody and reporting at least 1 death. A U.S. Border Patrol agent spotted a vessel near Point Loma at around 5:30 a.m. Thursday morning. Agents observed several people in distress near the boat about 10 minutes later, a Border Patrol spokesperson told Fox News. The boat coasted into an area known as Wipeout Beach.
CNN report. The anger driving Colombia's protest movement isn't going away anytime soon. What started as a tax reform proposal to help ease the strain of the pandemic on the economy and balance government finances ended with people taking to the streets to express their discontent. Large-scale protests in Colombia are now in their third week, and prosecutors have announced homicide charges after a national police officer was seen on video shooting and killing a 17-year-old in the city of Cali during the first day of demonstrations.
Fox report. Top U.S. Russia diplomats spar firmly but politely in Iceland. Reykjavik, Iceland. Top diplomats from the United States and Russia sparred politely in Iceland during their first face-to-face encounter, which came as ties between the nations have deteriorated sharply in recent months. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russia's longtime Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov spoke frankly but calmly of their differences as they held talks on the sidelines of an Arctic Council meeting Wednesday in the Icelandic capital of Reykjavik, a city with deep history in U.S.
CNN report. French court orders damages for hundreds of victims in breast implant scandal. German firm TÜV Rheinland was negligent in awarding safety certificates to a French company which made faulty breast implants. A Paris court ruled. A decision advocacy group said paved the way for thousands of women worldwide to seek damages. More than 300,000 women received implants that were made in the 10 years up to 2010 by PIP. polyimplant prosthese, and filled with cheap, industrial-grade silicone not cleared for human use.
Al Jazeera report. Biden signs U.S. anti-Asian hate crimes law. United States President Joe Biden signed anti-hate crime legislation on Thursday directing federal law enforcement to address a rise in violent attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders during the coronavirus pandemic. There are simple core values and beliefs that should bring us together as Americans. One of them is standing together against hate, against racism, Biden said at a White House ceremony attended by Democratic legislators and administration officials.
Deutsche Welle report. EU reaches deal on approving COVID travel pass. European Union lawmakers and member states on Thursday reached an agreement that would allow anyone in the bloc to obtain a digital proof of coronavirus vaccination status, COVID test results, or recovery from an infection. Called green certificates by the European Commission, the travel pass is designed to allow restriction-free travel within the EU ahead of the busy summer tourist season. In a couple of weeks, we will have a unified European digital COVID certificate, which will be recognized all over the EU and will massively simplify cross-border traveling, said Jeroen Linaers, MEP from the centre-right European People's Party bloc, the largest in the European Parliament, which had spearheaded the initiative. Quote.
Deutsche Welle report. Berlin, German lawmakers join Israel solidarity demo. Leading German politicians joined around 1,000 people to demonstrate against anti-Semitism and in solidarity with Israel on Thursday evening. The event, which started at 7 p.m. 17:00 UTC, in front of the Brandenburg Gate, was organized by an array of different groups, including the Jewish community of Berlin, the Kurdish community in Germany, and the German Trade Union Confederation. The list of speakers included Germany's Vice-Chancellor Olaf Scholz from the Socialist Party, SPD, the leader of the Liberal Free Democratic Party, FDP, Christian Lindner, General Secretary of Angela Merkel's Christian Democratic Union, CDU, Paul Ziemiak, as well as Green lawmaker Cem Özdemir and parliamentary leader of the Left Party Dietmar Bartsch.
BBC report. Belgian national park shut in hunt for far-right soldier. Dutch and German police are supporting the hundreds of Belgian officers and soldiers involved in the manhunt. The suspect, a military shooting instructor named as Jurgen Konings, went missing on Monday after taking weapons from a barracks. He is said to have made threats in the past against a top Belgian virologist, Mark van Ranst, who led Belgium's public health response to coronavirus, has been taken to a safe place with his family.
Al Jazeera report. Racial reckoning is shifting U.S. public opinion on Palestine. Not since the 1960s has the United States been as racially charged as it is today. The rise of the Black Lives Matter, BLM, movement is forcing Americans to confront centuries of systemic state abuse of African Americans. As a result, younger Americans no longer believe the myth that their society is color-blind. Like the civil rights movement of 5 decades ago, BLM has brought to light the common causes of systemic oppression against black people as well as Latinx, Native Americans, and Muslims.
BBC report. Black fungus. Call to declare epidemic in Indian states. The normally rare infection, called mucormycosis, has a mortality rate of 50%, with some only saved by removing an eye or jawbone. But in recent months, India saw thousands of cases affecting recovered and recovering COVID-19 patients. Doctors suspect there may be a link with the steroids used to treat COVID. Diabetics are at particular risk, with doctors telling the BBC it seems to strike 12 to 15 days after recovery from COVID.
Deutsche Welle report. EU lawmakers back freezing China investment deal over sanctions spat. The European Parliament on Thursday overwhelmingly adopted a resolution condemning baseless and arbitrary sanctions imposed by China on European lawmakers and institutions, adding it would not ratify an investment pact if the sanctions remained in place. In March, the EU sanctioned 4 Chinese officials over alleged human rights violations involving the Uyghur Muslim minority group in the Xinjiang region.
CNN report. Microsoft is finally getting rid of its most hated product. The end is finally near for Internet Explorer, one of Microsoft's most reviled products that refused to die. Microsoft announced this week that it will end support for Internet Explorer 11 on June 15, 2022. That final nail in the coffin came after years of flirting with IE's demise. For example, in August 2020, Microsoft turned its back on IE for its own products. Workplace chat software teams stopped working with IE last fall, and its 365 apps, including Office, will no longer work on IE by midsummer 2021.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. Recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.